Hi friends, in this session we'll discuss about managing common users and local users. In a multi-tenant architecture database, we have two types of user. One is a common user, the other is a local user. The common user is created on the CDB and it can access all the PDBs in the root, whereas local users are created only in the PDB and they can access only that PDB. So in this practice, we will examine the principles that govern managing the common and local users in CDP and PDB. Specifically, you will learn how to manage common users, how to manage local users, how to manage common roles and local roles, granting privilege as common and local, enabling common users to view information about specific PDB. Assumption CDB1 in MRV1 database is up and running. So we will log into the database and check whether it's up and running. So again, so it's up and running, it's connected. Next is managing common users. In the following step, we will create and examine the principles of creating and managing common users. View all common users in CDB. So we will view all common users in CDB. Plus SDBA. So this is the list of all the common users. All the common users, these are Oracle maintained users. We don't have any non-Oracle maintained user as of now. But these are the common users that we have right now. Create a common user and grant commonly create session privilege to it. So the common user always starts with the prefix C hash hash. So we will create common user. User created. Then grant create session privilege. Connect to CDB root as C hash hash user 1 and then to PDB with the same credentials. So we'll connect connected. Try creating a local user in the root container. And try to create a local user in the container, in the root container. Cannot create creation of local user role is not allowed in this container. This is the error. So you cannot create a local user in the root container. create another common user she has as user 2 and grant create session privilege as a local privilege to the user. Granting a local privilege to a common user is not a recommended practice. It is added in this practice only for demonstration purpose. Here container is equal to clause is not given, so it means it container is equal to current container. So we have locally granted create session to C hashes user 2. Try connecting to the root and PDB with the new common user. So we'll try connecting to the root and PDB. Root it got connected. See, the create session privilege is only granted locally to the root. So PDB2 it's not able to access. Drop the common users, user 2. Then drop C hashes user 2. So drop user is done. Managing local users in the following steps we will examine the principles of creating and managing local users. View all local users in the CDB. So we will copy this. So we have PDB1 admin, PDB2 admin. This we have created when creating the PDB. So when creating the PDB, we have created the admin users. So those are only local users. Those are only local users in the CDB1. Create a local user, luser2 in PDB2 and get create session privilege to it. So alter session set container. So we will go to PDB2. Then we will create luser2. Then we'll grant create session privilege to luser2. Try creating a common user in PDB2. So we will try to create a common user in PDB2. Common areas only allowed in root. So it's not allowed. So try user to try connecting to PDB2, PDB3 and CDB. PDB1. So first CDB1. Invalid username password logon denied. So it's not able to log into CDB because it's a local user. It's not able to connect to the CDB. So we will try to connect to PDB2 and PDB3. So this is local host and this is PDB2. PDB2. This is local host PDB3. So we'll try to connect to local user PDB2. If this should succeed, yes, connected. Try to connect to PDB3. This will fail. Okay. Managing common and local roles. In the following steps, we will examine principles of creating and managing common and local role and assigning them to the users. So we'll list all predefined roles in the CDB and in the root and the PDB. Connect CSSDBA. Connect this. So these are all the roles in the CDB and the PDB. So you can see one ID 3434, one ID 34 is there. So these are PDBs and one ID 1 is of course CDB. List all roles defined in the rule. All the root rules are common. You cannot create local local roles in the root. These are the role in CDB. Create a common role C# role C hashes role 1. This this role will be referred to as common role in the rest of the practice. So we will create a role C hashes role 1. Okay. Try creating a local role L role in the root. The command should fail. So we will try to create a role L role. Creation of local user or role is not allowed in this container. Okay. List all predefined roles in PDB2. Connect system, Oracle system of PDB2. First is These are all showing in PDB2. PDB2 roles are showing here. So if I want to see PDA roles. All these are common roles. Grant the common role to the common user from the root. Note that the common role is granted locally to common user. The granted role application only in the root. So we will connect hash versus PDA. And in the root, we will ban C hash role 1 to C hash user 1. This is locally given to a common user. The common column in this select is not a property of the role, it is how the privilege is granted. So in this query, so as you can see, granted role is C hash role 1 and its common is no. So this means that this role has not been granted commonly, it has been granted locally. Connect C hash user 1 oracle. Select star from session roles. Grant the role to the common user from the root as common to be applicable to all containers. So we'll connect LTDA. Grant role to now grant it commonly. Container is equal to all, grant commonly. You should see the granted role, the common grants in addition to local grants. So we query this. So one is locally, we have granted this role in ConID 1, and then we have commonly granted the role. So it's in 1, 3, and 4. Connect as common user to root and check the applicable role. C role 1. Connect as common user to PDB2 and check out the applicable role. So we'll connect to PDB2. C role 1. Remove the common role from the common user so that the role cannot be used in any container. So connect as this DBA. So commonly which has been granted, we are revoking that role. The local grant is still applicable. The local which we have given is still applicable. This is no, common is no, so this is locally revoke the local grant. Revoke the local grant also. Now we should not see any record in this query. Yeah, correct. Verify again, connect user one, rehash as user one Oracle. Okay. Order selected. Let's connect to PDB2 and we'll select from the row. Grant a common role to a local user in PDB2. Common role will connect to PDB2. Grant to a local user in PDB2. Grant a common role to a local user in PDB2. Let's certificate. Let's run this query. We have its role 1 on ID 4. Connect the local user. Check the role. Okay. Grant a local role to a local user. Grant a local role to a local user. System Oracle PDB2. L role PDB2 to a user. L role does not exist. We needs to create the L role PDB2. I don't know. Let's create a role. Now it's right. If we run this query, and run PDB2 and see hash as role 1. Uh, Granting privileges as common and or local. In this practice, you will manage privileges granted as common or local in CDB and PDB. Check how the system privilege create session was granted to C hashes user 1 and L user 2 users. There is nothing called common privilege or local privilege. Privilege are neither common or local, but they can be granted as common or as local. So let's connect system oracle. So we have create session privilege. So con ID 1, it's granted commonly to C hash user 1. In for con ID 4 also, it was granted to C hash user 1. In con ID 4, L user 2 create session privilege was granted locally, and con ID 3 C hash user 1, that was part of the commonly granted privilege. We will connect a PDB2. PDB2, you can see create session to L user 2 and to C hash user 1. C hash user 1 create session is granted commonly. Grant system privilege create table and unlimited table space to common users C hash 1 to be applicable in any container. A privilege commonly granted. So let's connect system. Okay. So we will select from CDBC scripts, CDBC space. So unlimited table space has been granted to all the container. Create table has been granted to all the container and they have been commonly granted. Grant create sequence to common users user to be applicable in the root only, a privilege locally granted. So we will grant it locally. Connect. This is not commonly granted, this is locally granted. And only in container 1 the privilege is there. Grant the system privilege creates synonym to common users C ## user 1 to be applicable in PDB2. That is also locally granted. Grant creates synonym. Query creates synonym. This is locally granted in ConID 4 PDB2. Grant the system privilege unlimited table space to local user L user 2 to be applicable in PDB2 only. So we'll connect to PDB2 system grant unlimited table space. So unlimited table space is locally granted and in ConID 4, that is PDB2 for L user 2. Enabling common users to view information about specific PDB. In this section of the practice, we will manage the container data attributes of common users to control what information common users can view about PDB objects in specific PDB. Display the default user level and object level container data attributes for container data objects. So let's copy this. First we'll connect as CTV. Create a common user C ## user to commonly grant the system privilege, create session and send a container to it. So we will create. Okay. Grant object privilege, select on VDLR session to C hash user 2 and grant it commonly. Create a second session, connect to PDB2 as user 6. So we need to connect a second session. SQL class, connect to SQL class. In the first session, you should see one row for PDB2. First session, one row for PDB2. Here in the first session, you are connected to common user C hashes. User 2 does not see any information in $V session related to PDB2. So, still in the first session, you connect to as common user C sharp. So, we'll connect here and then when we run this, doesn't see the session in the second session. This is on ID 0, but the second session it doesn't see. The session on the PDB2 it doesn't see. Enable the common user C sharp C hashes user to see the common user information in $B session related to PDB2. So how to do that? We'll connect the first session, connect the CDA, then alter users set container for container is equal to current. Now connect as user 2. Connect as user 2. Now we should be able to see the sys section. And now we can see the sys session 4. We are able to see. Use the attribute set for common user C sharp. So C hashes user 2 on container data. So on container data, we can run this query and see in container data what is there in C hashes user 2. So view dollar session in PDB2, that data is there. So we are able to see that information. So container name is PDB2 and con ID is 1. There's some cleanup activity. We'll do that later. So in this practice, we have tested and examined the following basic rules that control managing common and local users, common and local rules, and granting the privileges commonly and locally. Following are the summary points for these rules. Common users can only be created on the root. Local users can only be created in a PDB. Common roles can only be created on the root. Local roles can only be created in a PDB. Common roles can be granted common or local to common or local users. Common users can be granted common or local roles. A common role can be granted as common or as local to a common user. Privileges can be granted as common to common users or as local. You can control the dictionary view that common user view can view, and the PDB that the common user can easily contain a data attribute. To avoid confusion, always use container clause when you issue the grant command. Use common users for management and maintenance tasks. Create common roles for only common users. Create local roles for only local users. So that's about managing common and local users. So that's about the discussion about managing local and common users. Thank you for your time. Bye.